So I was talking to the good people over at one of my favorite publishing houses. Here you go. I'm gonna give you the link to it. There you go. redwillwiser.com. Oh, and the price of this deck, $26.95 in the US. This is the Rosebud Tarot. So I was talking to them and I was like, this is pretty. I really want to review this. So they sent this to me for the purposes of doing an honest review. And that is what we're going to do today. So the first thing I'm going to do before I even get started is tell you that this deck is by Diana Rose Harper and Amanda Lee Stillwell. See if there's anything else I got to tell you. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, let me tell you this part before we get into it. The Rosebud Tarot is a 78 card tarot deck with a 96 page full color guidebook. It looks like it's a Rider-Waite Smith clone. But it also is said to be very inclusive. It says here that its exquisite images offer a dreamscape of pathways into the tarot and makes way for an inclusive experience that is more resonant for today's tarot readers. That's awesome. All right, we got some changes in the major arcana. The High Priestess is the Witch. Temperance is Alchemy. Judgment is Emergence. The Knights are Velocity, and the Queens are Generosity. And the suits have been changed. Pentacles are Earth, Cups are Water, Wands are Fire, and the Swords are Air. Now, the interesting thing I want to tell you is that Diana Rose Harper grew up reading fairy tale. Well, she said she grew up eating fairy tales for breakfast and myths for dessert. She is now a professional tarot reader, consulting astrologer, energy worker, and a writer currently based in Los Angeles and serving clients and students worldwide. So the creator has quite the resume. Now, the other one that helped, she's the illustrator. Amanda Lee Stillwell is the illustrator. And it says, Amanda is a queer solitary witch. All right. Who practices ritual, gardening, and kitchen magic. Yes. She hails from the swamps of the Gulf Coast and has withstood many a hurricane. Yeah, I bet. Her art focuses on ritual digital collage inspired by altar spaces and her own religious upbringing, stirred in a cauldron with vintage photography and cult movies. We should get some very interesting images then. She currently lives in Chicago with her spouse and 3 dogs. You can find her work and witchy home goods at lastcraftdesigns.com. Spelled exactly like that. lastcraftdesigns.com. Alright, so I am very excited. My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to anyone and everyone who might like it as well. Please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you want to get a reading done, please email me or hit me up on social media. I'll be glad to give you a reading. All of my information will be underneath this video. And I, of course, will also put, let's see, beautiful rose, right? I also will put a link to where you can get an authentic copy of this deck. One of the things that is going on very, very strongly in the community is that people are constantly putting out counterfeit decks, and they're becoming more and more clever as time has progressed. So I always put underneath the video a place where you can buy a legitimate copy. So here's our guidebook. Let me give you a quick look. It's thicker than the standard little white book. Ooh, it's in full color. Excuse me. It has the upright and the reverse too. I think we're in for a real treat, guys. I'm seeing a lot that I like. I just wanted to see real fast if there are any spreads in here for those of us that like to use spreads. I don't see them in the beginning, and I do see them in the end. Okay, so if you want a spread, they're in the end of the guidebook. We just saw the inside of the box. This is the bottom of the box. I love the box. I love the roses. I love the pink. Lately, I've gotten some really cool boxes. I don't know what happened to me. I never thought I'd be the kind of old lady that collected cool boxes, but I have a thing for these cool boxes. All right, so the very first thing we're going to do before we even get started, I am going to show you the back of the card. Pretty, huh? And I'm going to, ooh, not too thick, not too thin, great cardstock, not too glossy, just a little gloss on. They feel nice. This is cool. Great size too. Look at that size. So if your hand is not that big, these are not humongous cards. Great size for shuffling. This little girl is so chubby and cute. Oh. Oh, bless her heart. Oh, she is so cute. So immediately I'm taken by the artwork. I knew that was going to happen though. As soon as I saw the method of the artwork, I was like, yeah, this is going to be something special. Now I'm going to pull this all the way in so you guys can see it. The mage. I'm feeling the art. First of all, I like the fact that they don't have a big, humongous border. There is a border, as you can see. And I remember some of this artwork. I've seen her before, this particular image before. So it looks like we are using some older artwork too. Like they said that. They said old artwork, collage. So it's a hodgepodge. They're bringing together different elements. It does have a border around it, but it doesn't overwhelm the artwork. Personally, I think they could have stretched the artwork even further, but I always like that. The number of the card is there and the name. The first thing I noticed is when they said inclusive, they was not playing. It's inclusive from the door. like the first card. I was like, okay, they were definitely not joking. Oh, the roses everywhere is so pretty. And this is what made me want to look at this deck, is that I have a thing for flowers. I have a thing for roses. And every card has these beautiful roses. This is great. These are going to be very great for doing a reading. And we were trying to look and see. Remember they said it had the Rider-Waite-Smith vibration? It does, but it's not a clone. It's not a clone at all. It does have the energy. Like, for example, if you're familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith, you're going to be familiar with these images. Who is who and what is what. Oh, two men. Yes, that's inclusive. Okay, yes. They was not playing with that word. I like that. I love that. I love when people mean what they say and say what they mean. So that's another good vibration as well. I like that. I like that. And remember I told you guys that I feel like it's not a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, but it does go along. This is the Chariot. So the Chariot is basically a vehicle. And she has a black cat and a white cat. And in the Chariot, if you guys remember, there's usually a black horse. Let me get it up close. Yeah, it's a black horse and it's a white horse. So yeah. We're getting some size diversity too as we're going along. But remember when I told you guys, I have seen some of these images before. So that I like, because I like the familiarity. Ooh. Yeah, I like the familiarity of it. And this is a larger body size too. So here we go. We got different body sizes, different ages going on. I've already seen some serious age looks in here. We had the diversity coming from the Lovers card. Really like that. This is decent. Oh, man. I love the... Oh, my... Everybody that does collage does it different, right? But it's always kind of busy. And this deck is busy, too. But it's busy in the best way possible. Because you have the central images, and then you have other things to jump off of around the edges. I like that a lot. Man, this is decent. And you know what this reminds me of? I don't know to what extent. I'm going to compare it. At the end, I'm going to compare it. But it reminds me of our tarot. That's what the size of the cards and some of the image energy reminds me of. And I'm going to compare it at the end to see if I'm right and where it is and where it isn't. Oh, wow. This person, not only are you on a tightrope, but is that a monster of some kind? Is that a crocodile? Yeah, she on a tightrope, and it is crocodiles underneath there, or alligators. I can't tell them apart. So, homegirl is in, yeah, she's in a very difficult situation. If you fall, that's your behind, boo-boo. Ah, okay. And it's not always at the bottom. Sometimes it's at the top. It's very cleverly placed, so that's cool too. Alchemy. And like I was saying before, you can see when I was talking about it not being a clone, it's like it has its own energy. I love that. Look at the outside the window. That is decent. It has its own energy. It's like if you take a look at it and you're familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith, like this is the devil. So if you're familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith, the devil is about bondage. It's about your shadow, you know. It could be negativity, pessimism. It could be a lot of things associated with it. But you often see the devil with a person that they have bound. And it's usually two people they've bound. In this case, it's only one. Then we have the snake up top. That's giving me Adam and Eve reference. So I'm really feeling that. I'm really feeling it, and that's why I said it's not the same thing we've seen over and over again, but it's the same message. Look at the tower. The tower is definitely recognizable. Usually the lightning is hitting the tower itself, and people are falling out of the tower. In this case, it hit the ground, so all of this is going to fall, not just the tower. So that's even more impending doom, in my opinion. So that's interesting. Wow, look at the star. This is one of the first ones we saw when I first started looking at this. The star is always one of my favorite cards because the star represents the Aquarius. It's beautiful. Ooh, we got some tasteful nudity. Is she naked or is she partially naked? It looks like she has something over her breast, but she's partially naked. She's beautiful. I love that. That's a beautiful depiction of the moon. Wow. Okay. All right. The sun card. My girl's happy. Wow. Great job. This artist really did her thing with these. It's an awesome job. Let's pour this up a little bit. I feel like you have to really get them in your face though. You have to really look at this. With me, collage art, you have to really look at all the aspects of it. I would like to look at this with the magnifying glass. This is the kind of thing, like I've seen oh, she's beautiful. Look at her. I have seen tarot readers and collectors who have a magnifying glass on their table. And that's what they do. They just look at all the little details. And a deck like this is wonderful for that. Wonderful for all those little beautiful details. And see, those details can make or break a reading. You know, you could be reading somebody and, you know, just telling them the interpretations of the cards like we always do. And you can see something and be like, you know, just a little something that maybe nobody else even noticed. And you'll see something and be like, hey, does this mean something to you? You know, and a lot of times those are the things that really touch you, that really stand out. Beautiful. So yes, I'm loving the interpretations. I'm loving the artwork. I'm loving the size of the cards. I'm loving the inclusivity. I'm loving the old-fashionedness of it, may I say. It's reminding me of my ancestors. Like, I'm seeing so many of them. And I'm like, wow. So I'm really feeling that. But at the same time, they're not all old-fashioned looking. Some of them are very old-fashioned looking. And some of them could be a little bit more modern, depending upon how you see it. Look at that. Now that's interesting. And I have to remember as I'm talking to you guys to move on to the next card, because this is the kind of deck you could get lost just staring at it. Seriously, there's just so much going on. When you see a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, you see the basic image and you move on. But something like this, it has so many things going on. Like the Nine of Swords. This would be the Nine of Swords. So the person's in the bed, you know, and if you know the Nine of Swords, you know what's going on here. But if you don't, you just see a person sitting up in bed and you can jump off all of the images and make your own, you know, understanding of what it is. An intuitive reader could do that very easily with these. And I feel like a professional reader or a seasoned reader could do really great with these. Okay, Curiosity. Remember they said they changed some of them. So Curiosity has to be the Page of Swords. This one is going to be the Knight of Swords. Okay. And Queen. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful girl. Beautiful. The Queen of Swords. Love her. And I love how the roses are just sprinkled throughout and the different flowers are just sprinkled throughout. The Sovereignty of Air. I love the look on this sovereign's face. It just looks so unbothered. Like, go ahead and take the picture. Like they'd rather be somewhere else, rather be playing golf or something. But they do all seem older. Like some of them seem older than others is my point. Like some of them look like they could be, I don't know, the beginning of photography. I don't know whenever that was. What was it, the 1800s? Beginning 1900s? Some of them look like that. And I guess that's because they probably are. And then other ones look like they could be from like the 1960s. Like this one. This looks like the 1960s maybe. So I'm seeing different time periods here as well. Interesting that that's the Three of Pentacles. I like that. Ah, nice chunky body type. Okay. I see you. I love it. Great inclusivity. Earth. And it looks like not only just the time period differences, but the places on the earth look different. I'm seeing like what could be Europe. Could be the Americas. I mean, like, just from looking at it, I can't tell. But I'm thinking I'm seeing different parts of the world. I love the way these are stacked like that. Isn't that cool? Oh, that's awesome. And the thing about this is, ooh, that's interesting, the flip of it. The thing about this is, okay, and if you read reversals, you'll be able to do reversals with this too. But that's interesting. Let's flip this around and see how it looks on the other way. It looks exactly the same. That's decent. I like that. Yeah. You can use this with anybody. You can use this with anybody from any culture, any age group, any gender, any sexuality. I mean, this touches everybody. I feel like you could use this with anybody that you wanted to. That is cool. So if you're somebody that's like familiar with like popular culture and photography and art and stuff like that, you're gonna be like me. You're gonna recognize a lot of these images, but the way that they did them is like you'll recognize. Like I recognize her. I recognize this bull. But all the back part, I don't recognize any of that. So the way that they put it together, the way that it came together. And I love her. She looks so fierce. So I would think the only thing that would really be important is that you're going to have to remember the changes of the names of the cards. You know, that's going to be important. Like you have to remember that's the King of Pentacles. You know, stuff like that. It's not hard though. I mean, he looks like the King of Pentacles. If you know Earth is Pentacles. So it just depends on your knowledge as far as tarot is concerned. But if you have a good knowledge, a basic knowledge, this would be easy. And remember, we have that really informative guidebook. So that guidebook is really going to be good. This is another winner. I'm definitely feeling that. I knew that though. I'm telling y'all, I knew it. When I saw just the box, I was like, yes. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah. I didn't even look at the cards. I looked at just the cards that were on the outside of the box, and I was like, yes, this is a winner. And I was right. I was right. I could feel it. I was like, this is a winner. Look at these two getting ready to rumble. World Star, they getting ready to fight. I love it. Five of Wands is often a conflict, so I like that interpretation though. These two old ladies, well, they not old in that picture, but these old time ladies about the rumble. Love it. She probably said something out of pocket and she about to hit her. I don't condone violence, but I like that. For that particular interpretation, it works. Look at that. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I like that. Another great interpretation. Yeah, they really do go she went rogue with the artwork. Yeah, she went rogue with the artwork. You can definitely tell what it's talking about. You can tell what it means. You can tell what interpretation it is. Like I said, if you already know the cards, if you're already familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith, this will not be difficult for you to understand it all. The symbolism is all there, but she definitely did it in her own way. And I like that. I really do. Because like I said, I don't mind a good Rider-Waite-Smith clone, but when decks go rogue like that, it just, after you've been reading for a long time like I have, I started reading in 1999. So if you've been reading for a long time and you've been using Rider-Waite-Smith, Toph, you know, over and over and over and over again, something like this presents a perfect challenge. I love his motorcycle. It represents a perfect challenge because after a certain point, you know, especially if you have the cards memorized, it's like, you know, you get to a certain point and you're just like, what else, you know, what else is there? What other fresh ideas are there? That's decent. I like that. That is really cool. It's like, what other fresh ideas are out there? What other fresh perspectives can I see? And something like this is the answer to that question. Some people want a challenge and some people don't. Some people want the same old, same old. If you want same old, then yeah, I hear you. You know, you get the same old, same old. But if you really want a challenge, okay, I like her. Another lady of size. I love that. But if you do want a challenge, you know, or if you want something, that's decent. Wow. You want something a little bit different, this is definitely for you. I feel like a beginner could use this deck. I feel like an intuitive reader would find this deck to be a dream. I feel like a professional or a seasoned reader would like this. I feel like this would pair very well with Oracle decks. The size of it is great to be able to use in videos too. Because some of my decks are so humongous that when I try to put them on the table for a video, I have to keep constantly adjusting them. So this is not going to give you that problem. I like that. They are beautiful. Aren't they pretty? Wow. They really are. Look at the kid. This is the Page of Cups. I love it. I like the skylines too. Pretty. Lots of stars, lots of sky. Okay, the Knight of Cups is a woman. Love it. Go ahead. Yes. Love it. This reminds me of Yin and Ya. Let me see who's down there. A mermaid. Ah, that's what I said. Yin and Ya is often depicted as a mermaid. Look at her. Excuse me. Love her outfit. Now remember I told you this reminds me of our tarot. Well, I have it right here. And I'm just going to compare and see why I think that. Oh, wow. You know something? It's much bigger. I like the size bigger because you can see the artwork better. But it is giving me. Okay, let me turn it this way so I can show you guys a little bit more. It's giving me similar, but not exactly. You see, it is a similar, because I feel like Rosebud, I feel like, does it better. First of all, I really love the roses. The roses are such an amazing touch. Um, so I like that. Let me move this out the way. Yeah, I like the size better. These are a little small. They do have some flowers, but as you can see, not as many. The border is much more huge. This border is way too big. They could have definitely stretched that out by a lot. So yeah, so it does give you similar. I think also like the different time periods. The time periods really is what drew me into that, because you can see different time periods in both of these. So I can definitely see a similarity, but I would be more likely to use Rosebud than this one. That's why, and if you take a look at this deck is pristine. I've only read with it twice, and I've had it for like since the day it came out. It's nothing wrong with this deck. It's a beautiful deck, but it's small, which is a good thing for people with small hands. Yeah, and this one is a history, like the history of women, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a little bit different. You know, this one is more inclusive of everybody. That's another thing. I feel like this one really speaks to women, and that's why I got it. Actually, I got it to work with women when I was doing divine feminine work. So as you can see, you see what I mean? Like, it's very similar in that case, but I just feel like the Rosebud did it better. You know how you go to school and everybody does a project, but some of you do the project a little bit better than others? I feel like that's what we're seeing here. I do. I feel like these are both good decks, but if I had to choose only one, it would be this one. Just because, like I said, you know, you can see the art. Look how much different the art is. It's so much bigger. It's so much better too. Like, they're both collagey, but I like the way the flowers really stand out with this. Is more collagey. So yeah, I definitely get a similar vibration from these. So I was right about that. But yeah, I would have to go with this one. If I could only have one, I would go with this one. Now, because I have both of them, I can just use them interchangeably. But yeah. Alright guys, we're done. So you come back soon, because I got a lot more to say. See you later.